Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. We've got a potentially explosive situation brewing overseas. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is making his first overseas trip, hitting up Germany, Belgium, and Poland. Sounds routine, right? Wrong. This isn't just a meet-and-greet tour. This trip could trigger a domino effect, reshaping U.S.-European relations, impacting the defense industry, and even influencing the outcome of the war in Ukraine. Is Hegseth walking into a powder keg? Or is he holding the key to stability? Let's dive in and break it all down. You might be surprised by what we uncover. Stick around, because this is going to be a wild ride. Okay, so here's the rundown. Secretary Hegseth is kicking things off in Germany, meeting with the top brass at EUCOM and AFRICOM. He's also spending time with our troops stationed there. Then it's off to Belgium for a NATO defense ministerial, followed by a stop in Poland to meet with Polish leaders and more troops. The core themes? Strengthening alliances, boosting defense spending, and figuring out the next steps in Ukraine. President Trump's stated desire for a diplomatic end to the war will be a key talking point. But there's a lot more going on beneath the surface than just handshakes and photo ops. This trip is loaded with potential risks and opportunities. Let's start with the obvious: stronger U.S.-European military ties. Hegseth's meetings are designed to foster better communication and coordination. Think increased joint training exercises, improved interoperability, and a more unified NATO response force. Sounds good, right? But here's the rub. This also puts pressure on Europe to step up its game. It's a subtle message: we're here for you, but you need to pull your weight. Are our European allies ready to shoulder more of the burden? That's the million-dollar question. Or should I say the billion-dollar question? Speaking of money, Hegseth's attendance at the NATO Defense Ministerial is all about getting European nations to cough up more cash. He's going to be pushing them hard to meet their agreed-upon defense spending commitments. This is a long-standing point of contention, and it's not going to be a comfortable conversation. Some nations will bristle at the pressure, while others may see it as a necessary wake-up call. The follow-on effect? Increased defense budgets, more procurement of military equipment, and potentially a more balanced distribution of the defense burden within NATO. But will it be enough? And will it happen fast enough to make a difference? Now, let's talk about Ukraine. Hegseth's participation in the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, UDCG, is crucial. He's going to be reiterating President Trump's desire for a diplomatic end to the war. This sounds like a positive step, but it's also a delicate balancing act. Too much emphasis on diplomacy could be seen as abandoning Ukraine. Too little, and we risk further escalation. The goal is to find a negotiated settlement, but that's easier said than done. We're talking about navigating a complex web of competing interests, historical grievances, and deeply entrenched positions. Can Hegseth thread that needle? The fate of Ukraine, and potentially the stability of Europe, may depend on it. All right, let's shift gears and talk about the impact on the defense industry. If European nations actually increase their defense spending, we're looking at a potential boom. Defense contractors, both U.S. and European, could see a surge in orders and revenue. Think expansion of production capacity, more hiring, and growth in related industries like cybersecurity and logistics. But there's a flip side. If the diplomatic route fails and the conflict in Ukraine drags on, we could see even more instability and economic disruption. It's a high-stakes game with potentially huge rewards and devastating consequences. The pressure is on. Okay, let's talk about something the mainstream media is likely missing: the operational security risks. Announcing Hegseth's itinerary in advance? That's practically an invitation for adversaries to cause trouble. We're talking physical security risks, cyber risks, the whole 9 yards. And what about his communications? Are they truly secure? You can bet that Russia, China, and other actors are trying to eavesdrop. This trip is a high-value target, and the security teams need to be on high alert. One slip-up could have catastrophic consequences. Think about it: a compromised phone, a leaked email, a well-placed protest. The possibilities are endless. Let's not forget about Russia. How will Putin react to Hegseth's trip? Will he see it as a sign of strength and resolve, or as a provocation? Increased military activity, cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns. These are all possibilities. The geopolitical chessboard is constantly shifting, and this trip could be a major catalyst. We need to be prepared for a wide range of responses, both overt and covert. This isn't just about military hardware. It's about information warfare, economic pressure, and the subtle art of destabilization. This is a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Buckle up. Let's get real for a second. There are ethical concerns here too. How transparent will Hegseth be about his meetings and discussions? Will the public have a clear understanding of the decisions being made? And what about the influence of lobbyists and defense contractors? Are we ensuring that decisions are being made in the best interests of the nation and not just lining the pockets of a few powerful corporations? These are questions we need to be asking. The stakes are too high to ignore the potential for conflicts of interest and undue influence. We need accountability, plain and simple. And speaking of things hidden in plain sight, let's talk about the elephant in the room: digital privacy. Remember that Yahoo article? All those cookies tracking users and their geolocation data? That's a huge ethical red flag. How is that data being used? Who is it being shared with? This kind of surveillance erodes trust and raises serious questions about our fundamental rights. We need to demand more transparency from these tech giants. They need to be held accountable for how they collect, use, and share our personal information. This isn't just about convenience. It's about protecting our freedom. So, what's the bottom line? Defense Secretary Hegseth's trip is a high-risk, high-reward gamble. It has the potential to strengthen alliances, boost defense spending, and pave the way for a diplomatic resolution in Ukraine. But it also carries significant risks: strained relations, geopolitical escalation, cybersecurity threats, and ethical concerns. The success or failure of this trip will depend on a number of factors, including Hegseth's diplomatic skills, the political climate in Europe, and the evolving relationship between the U.S. and its allies. It's a complex situation with no easy answers. But one thing is clear: the world is watching, and the decisions made on this trip will have far-reaching consequences. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Hegseth's trip? Is it a smart move or a dangerous gamble? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis of the latest tech and geopolitical developments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, the future is uncertain, but we can shape it together. Don't just sit on the sidelines. Engage in the conversation, demand transparency, and hold our leaders accountable. The world is changing fast, and we need to be ready for what's coming. Thanks again, and stay safe out there.